And especially when it comes to Conor Benn. Now, we know what Nigel Benn did in his career. The Dark Destroyer, middleweight champion, WBC super middleweight champion of the world, fearsome puncher. Yeah. Loved Nigel Benn. Conor Benn, had the pleasure to meet him once. That was a night where Stavern fought Joyce at the O2 Arena. He was sitting there, really down to earth guy. Well, that's why I met him there, when he fought Stavern and Joyce. So he was in a VIP area where I actually was as well that night. So this is nothing personal. This video is nothing personal towards Conor Benn, right? Although I'm calling his name out, it's not. It's just the facts. Now, would you feel secure getting in an airplane with a guy who'd only flown in Flight Simulator? Would you feel confident getting in a plane with a guy that had only flown an arcade aeroplane? Or would you feel secure with a guy that was like doing a shoot 'em up on a fighter jet, going to take you on your first trip across the Atlantic, like from England to Australia? Would you trust that pilot? Well, this is what boxing fans are doing with their trust in Conor Benn. Problem is, you see, Conor Benn, we don't know how good he is at welterweight, right? The guy has not fought for an era title, a British title, a European title, or a world title. So we just don't know how good he is. We don't. We have an idea. They say he's jumping up 2 weight divisions. That's a lie. Because the last time we saw Conor Benn, he was a light middleweight. So what, is the fight up at super middleweight? Or is the fight at middleweight? So I'm confused. So nobody knows what Conor Benn looks like at middleweight. Just like what people think, the same thing with Crawford. Oh, Crawford's going to do great. Well, at least Crawford has got some body of evidence as to what he's done in the lower weight categories. He's been undisputed twice, right? But Conor Benn's nowhere near undisputed. He's barely won an area title against a guy who's won 2 IBO championships and has fought some of the best fighters in the world in Chris Eubank Jr. Some of the things Chris Eubank's done at middleweight and super middleweight, the guys that Eubank got beat by, could Conor Benn beat them? Could Conor Benn beat Billy Joe Saunders? Could Conor Benn beat George Groves? Could Conor Benn beat Arthur Abraham, James DeGale? Even a shot James DeGale, could he beat him? These are the questions that I ask myself. And I've said this before, when he fought Dobson, Benn was hitting Dobson with his best punch, and the guy was going nowhere. And the other guy fought, he was almost on a life and death struggle against that guy. And then Benn's going to go up another weight division, so his punching power wasn't dynamic then. And then he's going to move from another weight division. What gives people the confidence to believe that Benn's going to suddenly be a bigger puncher in another weight division against a guy who's going to be heavier? So, first of all, does his punch power carry? And never mind the punch power. What's his punch resistance like? Well, you know, he got dropped by a guy early on in his career, a straight right hand down the pipe. Benn hasn't improved that much. Does he even take you talk about Benn knocking Eubank out. Does he even take a Eubank punch? Eubank's not like He's not a mug of punching power. I mean, he's not a mug. So when Ben gets, you talk about when Eubank hits Ben on the chin. What happens when Ben hits Eubank on the chin? What happens when Ben gets hit by Eubank? Can he take punishment? What does Ben do when he's under pressure in a big fight? I'm not talking about fighting on somebody's undercard. When you're under pressure and it's your dad's name, are you going to come out charging and come charging out like your old man did against Eubank? I mean, at least the old man, he was Commonwealth champion. He'd already fought for the world title and beat Doug DeWitt to become WBO champion. Young man, old Nigel, I remember watching the fight live. He got dropped in the second round by Doug DeWitt. He got off the deck to knock Doug DeWitt out. And then he ripped up his boxing license. Like father, like son, ripped up his boxing license. When he won the WBO belt, I watched it live. And I think it was Reg Gutteridge. Not Reg Gutteridge, the other one. It wasn't Reg Gutteridge. Gary Newborn. Oh, we all love a Gary Newborn interview. Gary Newborn. And he was stirring the pot on that. Good old Gary Newborn. Yeah. And Ben ripped up his license. And then Ben went and fought Barkley in the next fight. And after he knocked out, when he stopped Barkley, then he fought Eubank. I ran the blame Barkley. Right? But Ben, before he even fought for the WBO Championship of the World, he got stopped by Watson. Watson rope-a-doped him. Watson came out first round, charged out at Ben. Now Ben came out, charged out against Watson, and Watson just tucked up. And what Ben was throwing all sorts of crazy punches. And Watson just tucked up and waited for him. And as soon as Ben tired, Watson found a jab, hit him in the eye, and then Ben turned away, and then Ben come back at him again. Before you know it, he got knocked out by a jab. Ben had punched himself out. Are we going to see like father, like son? There's nothing to suggest at middle. So first of all, it's uncharted territory. He's never fought middleweight, so his body won't be the same as welterweight. It's 2 weight or 1 weight division up. He didn't look great at light middleweight. So where's he suddenly going to get his fantastic performances? And he's been out the ring for a while. I don't understand why people have got all this faith in Ben. I don't. I wish someone could explain to me. Not British, not Commonwealth, not European, not world. And if Eubank knocks him out, what are you going to say? Oh, well, Ben was a welterweight. It was a mismatch in the first place. The same people turn and say, Ben will knock out Eubank. Now, of course, father time, and see, Eubank has already been stopped once already, but I think that stoppage was caused because of the way Eubank lost weight against Ben in the first fight. So he lost the weight in a horrible way. I don't know how he did it, but he looked unprofessional to me. And I don't know why he doesn't get a proper dietitian in his corner. And the effects of that is why he was weakened. So when Smith hit him on the chin, the legs went. He was not strong enough. Whether that's affected Eubank after the knockout defeat to Smith, he came back and looked pretty good. I don't know. But Eubank has not been in big punishing fights though. And when the going gets tough and it's not going Ben's way, can he dig in deep? It's like talking about your own man and, yeah, my own man's this. You're not your own man. You're not your own man. You are you. And as much as you want to emulate your own man, you may suffer the same fate as your own man. The way Eubank wound up Nigel, and Nigel came flying out of traps. Nigel came flying out of traps against Watson. Watson had a cooler head. Watson stopped Ben. Ben came flying out of traps against Eubank. All hatred and all that stuff. Eubank absorbed Ben's best punches. He tired again. Ben got stopped by Eubank. And let's remember, if you didn't know, I understand that Ben was overweight on the scales. And Ben had to, like, really, had to go back and skip, I think it was an hour and a half, or something like he said, or 3 hours, I don't know, to make the weight to fight Eubank. Yeah. So, I don't know. But there's one thing I want to ask Conor. And not even Conor, his team. If I knew, right, if I suspected that somebody had planted something to contaminate me and cause me to lose my British boxing license and to call me a drug cheat, I would fire my whole team and I'd go to a new team. Why didn't you do that? If you're saying the drugs, if you're admitting to the drugs being in the system, either one or two ways, you took it yourself knowingly or it was planted unknowingly. So which one is it? If it was knowingly, then you are a drugs cheat. If it was unknowingly, then why didn't you fire your team? Who would have been that given you that the contamination? If it was by eggs, which I don't believe. Why didn't he leave his team? Why didn't he leave the team he had? I mean, they're not a brilliant team. For that to happen to Conor, leaving exposed like that, they're not a great team. I would leave them. I would say thank you very much. I don't know who it is in this camp. But if you knowingly knew you took it and your trainer knew you took it, then you can't leave your trainer and say, well, you know what? I'm leaving because, you can't do it. Exposes your trainer in a certain kind of way, do you know what I mean? So I personally, he should have left his team. My point is he should have left the team. Started a complete fresh. Because if he had done that, I'd have more believed he didn't take the drugs. Because he left the team saying, you know what, I can't be doing this. I can't trust anybody in my camp no more. Because I don't know who it is that's planted this stuff in my body. I don't know who it is around me. So I'm firing a lot of you and I'm going to find a new team. I'm going to go abroad or I'm going to do this. But I can't have the same people around me. That's what I've done. Anyway, you're British Commonwealth, European world. Some sort of standing. How does this guy get on a pay-per-view event? Only reason this has happened is because of their father's names. That is because it's not because of Ben's pedigree. Am I lying? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave it in the comment section. I'm out. Have a good one.